You
All
can
right.
see.
Do we draw cards now? 8 cards,
Oh
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
eight cards and a story and a ending card. So we're playing Once Upon a Time. None of us have played it before. We're going to have to figure out how to do this. Who wants to be the first storyteller?
You do.
I do. Okay.
I guess you do.
I guess I do. Well,
You can only interrupt with cards that say interrupt, right?
you can interrupt with any card as if I mention it. Like if you had the palace card and I mentioned the palace, you can interrupt the palace card.
Even if it doesn't say interrupt on it?
Yes, the interrupt cards allow you to interrupt.
And replace it.
Yeah, and replace things. So if I said the palace card, but you had a interrupt card, that was like a witch's hut. You interrupt and say instead of a palace, it was a witch's hut.
And then I can, if you just mentioned like, oh, let's see. So do you just have to mention it, or is it the thing where it has to be important to the story?
I think it has to be important to the story.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he explained.
Yeah, I remember hearing that, but wasn't sure if that was just for yourself playing cards.
Yeah. So I
All right.
guess I will start. Once upon a time, there was a king. This king came from a magical kingdom where there were wizards and dragons all over the place. When one day he decided that he needed to hire a bard because he was bored. So the bard, he hired a bard, and there were several that came in to try out. And eventually he found one whose singing was the best. This bard's singing was the greatest in the land, so much so that it was magical. This bard,
Wow, like a
this bard cast a spell over the entire castle, making it so everyone fell asleep. Uh, they say, I don't know, pass.
Okay.
So I'd get a discard card and draw a new one.
So do I? Oh, it goes to your left. So that'd be me, right?
Yes.
As the rest of the castle slept, thankfully there was one wise enough not to fall. It was the king's prince, who had been in. Or no, let's see. It was the king's prince who had in the past. Or let's see. There was the king's prince period who had in the past had many arguments with the bard about his magics and his untrustworthiness. Unfortunately, let's see. So can I only quick rules question? Can I only play interrupts uh, on other people's turns?
You can play them as part of the story, but you can't replace your own cards.
Okay, makes sense. Unfortunately, he didn't have a way to undo the spell on his own, so he decided to go on a journey to figure out a way to remove the curse from his family's castle. On the way, he was met with a devastating storm that ended up getting him quite lost, and he could not remember his way home. I'll pass.
Okay. Well, after he forgot his way home, he transformed into a beggar. Now poor and sad. He was left wandering around. Oh god. Not knowing if he could ever rescue his town again because he forgot about his town. I'll pass.
Okay. You can remember when you pass, you can discard and draw a new card. So if there's a
True.
card you don't want anymore, you can get rid of it.
Oh, I could. Can I discard my ending?
No, I think your ending has to.
Oh, it's gonna be so difficult.
We can look if you want.
Sure.
Why don't you just discard your ending? It doesn't sound like fun if it's not not possible.
Yeah, because he realized how loyal his sister had been. What sister?
Let's put it in its own discard pile.
Yeah, sorry.
It's fine. Well, we can always introduce a sister.
That's true, but
And then like the sister is the key or something like that, right?
yeah, but then why wouldn't she be at the cast?
All right. So, now a beggar, the prince travels to a nearby town where he finds the Duke of Sorn. Now, this Duke of Sorn is important because he married his sister, the prince's sister.
Oh, gosh dang it! Should have kept that ending.
The Duke of Sorn married the prince's sister because she was magical in her own right, where she was so beautiful that no spell could ever affect her.
Me.
The prince decided that the princess was the key to breaking the spell.
Oh my god!
So he went to his sister and begged for her help. Not
Wait,
not
I
wanting
have a
to.
question. If I wanted to interrupt and change the story, I could use my interruption card, right?
Only if it's
Yeah.
You can only interrupt if it's something that he like said, or like say if he played a thing and you have an interrupt thing, you could play over that.
Okay. Continue.
So she didn't want to go because she enjoyed her life with the Duke of Sorn, and didn't want to leave and put herself in danger. So she instead found a wizard who was able to turn her beauty into a potion. And
Gosh dang you and all these things.
she gave the prince the potion and told her that someone he loves must drink it, and then they will become the key. So the prince takes the potion, and getting directions as he was lost, he is able to find his way back to the palace eventually.
He returned.
Oh, you interrupted me! I have to draw a card then.
He returned to the palace, where and he went to the palace and he thought, what do I truly love? And then he remembered his famed love of birds. So he gave his favorite bird a potion, the potion, and well, true love had broken the enchantment.
His true love is a bird.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it worked.
I'll say. So mine was the spell had broken and they were free. So.
Oh dang! So we both could have won from that.
Yeah.
Mine was and his mom was delighted with such a unusual gift, and I was gonna say, oh, and then his parent came in, and he gave the potion to his mom, and she was.
Oh, you know what you could have done is could have interrupted him with parting ways because he and the beautiful lady parted ways.
Yeah, I was about to, but I didn't.
That was fun.
Yeah, I was gonna have him, get married or something, so he had a husband or wife. And then you made me draw this monster card, which I was gonna turn the bard into a monster.
I wish I had kept that ending because that would have been absolutely perfect. Just like he uses the potion, it doesn't work, and then you realize just how honest she had been.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
Why would that make her honest?
No, that would just be proving that she wasn't honest.
Do it again.
It was a false ending.
So.
Oh, I just got the same ending. Can I get a different one?
Sure. I think that's fine, right?
Yeah, I feel like there's so many endings that we want to try out.
Yeah, we should maybe keep the discard piles discarded next time.
That's a good idea.
So now, who goes first?
I went first last time, so when are you two?
Let's see. I will go first.
Okay.
Let me just look at my stuff real quick.
Don't make me go first.
Okay. There once was a little peasant child. He was quite skilled and
Who
strong.
was poor.
No.
Wait, yeah, I didn't
Josh,
say poor.
Josh would have to say
Ah.
poor or something to the effect of poor. He just said peasant, which doesn't exactly mean
Peasant
poor.
is poor.
It does not. No, silly.
No.
This child was exceedingly strong and very proficient with his use of the axe. Unfortunately, during a horrible incident, he was hurt, and it disfigured his face. Um, everyone forgot who he was for his, or everyone forgot who he was. His identity was mistaken, and everyone thought that he was some sort of old person. Because
What?
of how horrible his face looked. And then time passed. What happened after this? I passed.
Okay. Well, after that, he stole a potion from somebody who let him become healed, and that made him really happy again.
Disgusting.
Even though he was still poor, he wanted to become something more. He realized that really what he might really want to do is to go into the ballroom and ask the queen for her hand. He was unhappy just being a poor boy. That I passed.
You'll pass.
Yeah.
Well, in asking for the queen's hand, the king was unhappy. The king was decided that the boy should no longer be alive, and he ordered his guards to execute him. But the boy ran. There was a chase as the boy was running from the guards. They chased him out of town, where he got lost in the woods. Pass.
All right. While he was in the woods, he realized that due to his proficiency with the axe, he was rather well off. Well, let's see. Do I have to play cards in order to go story elements?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But that just makes it easier for us to interrupt.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I just need to kind of groom a story a little bit because I only have one card that's very irrelevant. So he decided to use his proficiency with the axe to make himself his own little village out in the middle of the woods that he was lost in, so that any others who were lost could find their way there and have a place to stay. And I'll pass.
Okay. While he was sleeping.
I mean, you could take him back to the palace.
I mean, I could, but I didn't want to because it didn't seem like what he'd do at the time.
Yeah, anyways, while he was sleeping, his sister, that also ran away, found out that, you know what, that town is kind of an awful place.
Wait a second! His sister doesn't recognize him! Nobody recognized him!
But he was healed.
Yeah, but
identity
this
was
happened
taken.
to be his sister.
He was also
and then
healed.
he got healed.
Oh, he was healed. Gosh dang it, you're right.
Yeah. So his
So, can I draw
sister.
2 cards?
No, because you didn't actually interrupt.
Okay.
Anyways, his sister, now in his town, realized that this place was kind of terrible. So in the night, she decided to sneak out and escape. She escaped the awful place and fled home.
Wait, I guess. Well, to be fair, I think that's probably the only way that she could have done it to be able to make the she make sense.
Yeah, the gendered thing is.
Yeah, because the main character wasn't a boy, or wasn't a girl. So.
Yeah, but the sister did just come out of nowhere. She wasn't like the main
Yeah,
character.
that was pretty
That's
out
true,
of nowhere.
That's true.
I think maybe discarding the ending probably would have been a better idea.
Yeah.
Discard it?
Do we want to leave that one, or do we want to start, or do we want to bring that back?
I'm kind of split.
We should flip a coin.
Sure. We're all too nice. We don't want to say bad things.
Yeah. I mean, like at the same time, I'm all about criticizing my wife.
Wow.
All right. What's what?
Heads wins, cats wins, cats.
Okay. Roll it. R.
Flip it. No.
That's F.
Oh.
Okay, so you
There we
just discard the ending and draw another thing card, and you pass turn.
Wait, another thing card or another?
Yeah, another
Thing
ending
and
card, and then
ending.
another Once Upon a Time card. So what happened? He has a sister who ran away. So she found the boy, starting to chop some trees to build a town, and she convinced him that this was not a good idea. He cannot start a town as one singular person. So he agreed to return with her to the town in a disguise, allowing him to not be recognized.
Again.
But when they get to the town, they get stopped on the bridge. The guards on the bridge ask him a few questions, but end up recognizing him. They cast a spell on him that caused it so whenever he came back to town, he would rapidly age. So he had to leave the town to avoid dying of old age. I'm gonna pass.
Okay. Yeah, leaving the town in order to avoid old age, he decided to go back to his little village that he had started making because his sister was kind of a jerk, leading him back there and causing him to get cursed. What a jerk. And so he went, not only having this wooden village, he discovered a nearby cave that he decided to sleep in that helped him get his village made. And due to his presence at the village, it was restored to prosperity.
Yeah,
Well.
that's fine.
That happened.
Yep.
You started with a peasant boy, so I thought mine could actually end up working at some point where he becomes queen and king at the course of time.
That's true. He was young. So you
Yeah.
cursed him out of the city forever.
Yeah, I did that, and I was like, wait. Oh, I need to stop putting the discard pile back in the draw pile.
I think for the event cards, that's more okay. But
Yeah, for the events, that's fine. I think for the endings, it's.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Cat's turn to start.
Remember to draw your ending.
Just a second. I think I accidentally took 9 cards.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Let's see what I have here. Okay, so everybody was singing around the that everybody
You can only play
went
one per sentence,
Yeah.
one per sentence. Okay.
and it has to make sure it's important to the story. So is the singing important?
Everyone was singing after a long day of working on the farm. Their hard work was something that everybody at this point was used to. It wasn't a very pleasant thing, but this was what they had. Every night they would go to the well and make a wish for food, as they had to give all of their food to the evil king. Pass.
So they have to give their food
To an evil king, so
Evil
they
king.
wish for magical food.
So the food arrives magically, just appearing on their tables. When in the sky, they see the evil king flying on a broom. The evil king, noticing they have food, gets mad and summons his queen to take
No, he
all.
summons a thief!
He summons a thief. All right, go ahead.
The thief comes in and ends up going up to the well and, let's see, no. Oh, no, finds out that the well is not a well, but actually a stolen cauldron.
1%. 1 per sentence.
Wait, but how do I do an aspect? I guess it was actually a cauldron, and this cauldron was stolen. Is that more okay?
Probably.
That makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I don't know how else you'd add like an adjective to a thing.
Well, you could say, yeah, you just make it a different sentence.
Okay. The thief, realizing how powerful this cauldron was, decided to do a little bit of research about it to see if he can figure out how to get away with it.
I got interrupted.
He got a.
Sorry, I was interrupted, so I had to draw a card. Because when you get interrupted, you
Oh,
draw a
I
card.
see. He tried to. He read this book, this really interesting tome about the differences between different cauldrons and witchery things, and he decided to go try to steal it. Unfortunately, the village's bird caught onto him. But this is no ordinary bird. This can talk.
Actually, this bird was wealthy.
Oh. Which bird? So does this get discarded?
Yeah, it gets discarded. You draw another card. So what did you gave the book to the bird, right?
No, the thief has the book to try to learn about the witch stuff. The bird is a wealthy bird that's trying to stop.
Okay, so the wealthy bird pass.
Okay, Josh, back to you.
That was a
All
bad
right.
interrupt on my part.
Well, it started off as a wealthy bird. So the wealthy bird is chasing the thief through the woods, or is chasing the thief, who ended up running into the woods. Unfortunately for the thief, his shoe was not on too tight, and it ended up slipping right off. Pass.
Okay. While he was running through the woods, time passes, and we go back to the village where people, now realizing that their well is a cauldron, they move it into a place with a locked door, guarded by um guarded by their best village folk. Still in the woods, the thief was no longer stealing, so he began being poor and nothing but a peasant. Pass.
So the village put their cauldron well behind a door, and then the thief's being chased by a bird.
Yes, a really rich bird.
For a long time, because time passes.
So the rich bird eventually, leaving the thief alone, flies back to the village, where it goes to the king's bedchamber and reports in because the bird is working for the king.
Wait, no, the bird is specifically working for the village.
Was it working for the village? Okay, well that's.
Yeah, it was protecting the village from the thief.
That means I get rid of that card, draw 2, and my turn is passed, I think.
Ha!
Oops.
I missed that. All I know is that the bird and the thief ended up chasing each other very far away. And I'm gonna pass the turn. I need a new ending. That's gonna be too hard.
The thief ended up living the rest of his life as a beggar, which was perfectly.
You can't have any cards in your hand.
Yeah, it's
oh, really?
card.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to get rid of all the cards in your hand before you can play that.
The bird and the thief continue fighting for the rest. In fact, the bird was still wealthy as he still crowned his crown, but the thief lived the rest of his life as a beggar, which is perfectly just.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Specifying that the bird was rich because of his crown.
Yeah.
Man, this story was crazy. Alright, so that's Kaleb starting again.
Did we already do 3?
Yeah.
We did. Alright. So, once upon a time, there was a child. This child was traveling, looking for a way to restore his leg, which had been smashed.
Someone's been hurt?
Okay.
Oh, you got it!
So he's looking for a way to restore his leg.
Yeah. And he's traveling on the leg.
So it seems like it was a curse this leg could not heal no matter where he traveled, and this made him really sad. So, deciding that he can no longer be living with the rest of society, he escaped um the shackles of the world to live in the mountains. Pass.
Okay. Well, in the mountain, he met a mountain witch who heard his plights. She offered him a potion. Did you throw my card?
Oh, I was just it's floating for me, so
Oh.
Yeah, they float weirdly.
She gave him the potion that is supposed to restore his leg and cure his curse. However, this instead turned him into a fairy. He could fly around on his little wings, but his leg was still cursed. He was frightened now, being a small, innocent creature.
No, he was not frightened. He was wealthy.
He was wealthy.
He got rich by being a fairy.
All right, go ahead.
Jeez, let me go, guys.
Now being a wealthy but injured fairy, fairies can be guys, I guess, right?
Yeah.
He decided to start going the aspects of the nobles, and he wanted to start doing some more adventurous stuff. So he made the new castle. I don't know what you call a castle area. A castle area, the castle village, his new home. There, the the queen gave everybody a quest, and of course, this new fairy boy, though injured, had to take this quest, and she promised a very big prize. Pass. Back to you,
I haven't
Caleb.
gone yet. I have no interrupts.
The fairy boy began to make friends with some of the other questers in order to make the quest a little easier. Did you say what the quest was? Sorry.
No, I haven't.
Okay.
I just said there's a quest and
So
there's a big prize.
The queen had them search for a hidden object. She would not tell them what the object was, but only that they would recognize it from her symbol. So they all took to the woods. The fairy boy with his friends looking together, when they came across a well. The well was guarded by a great beast who
If I have a card that is a great beast, but isn't specifically a great beast, could I play it?
I guess it depends on what the card is, because as long as it's similar, like if you play a cow, that's probably...
Okay, but what if it's like a wolf?
I mean, that probably works, because I'm intending it
It's
to be
a
like
wolf!
an adversary, right?
Boom!
Okay, it's a wolf. Boom. I have to draw a card because I get interrupted.
And this wolf ain't no ordinary wolf. This wolf is ugly. But not only is this wolf ugly, it is in fact, or it can actually speak as well. And the wolf looked at the adventurers and said, "You want to get into this dungeon, but this dungeon cannot be gotten into unless you have two that share blood." So the fairy boy thought for a moment and said, perhaps I need to go get my sister. Now, his sister was very poor, and her father always told her never to go adventuring, for it was a recipe for death. However, she caved in to her fairy brother's plea, for she was very fond of her fairy brother, and I'll pass.
Okay, so she traveled with her fairy brother, and they were able to get to the dungeon. The dungeon, actually, other than the trouble of opening the door, was pretty easy. All they had to do was open the door. Though, sibling rivalries can make it harder. After grabbing the object, which was a golden sphere with the queen symbol.
Wait, quick question.
Yes?
Aren't you technically supposed to always have an object card if you have at least an ending?
Oh, wait, did you start
that
without
true?
an object? Without a card?
Yeah, if you only have an ending left, you have to have an object.
Oh, so I have to grab an
You
object.
have to have at least
Yeah.
one, yeah.
Okay. So they went back to the queen, who was a pretty old person. giving giving them the
Wait, that's a
orb.
character, not an aspect.
Oh, well
That
then
means it's a different person.
the king is an old person.
But that doesn't say the king. That's just an old
Well, I
person.
mean, the king can be an old person. We haven't
Okay,
been introduced
okay.
to the king yet.
Fair enough.
So the king and the queen gracefully took the orb, and so the queen gave them the prize that she had promised.
I was so hoping, because I was going to have the sister be like, and she kept her father's advice in mind from that day forward. I was hoping something bad was going to happen in the day.
Oh, I needed to change him back from being a fairy.
Oh.
And I got a couple interrupt cards, but you never played objects, and you played place once, and I'm like, that doesn't fit here.
I had no objects or interrupts at all.
Nice.
I
That was
only had one
harder.
turn. That was difficult because you two kept going. I had nothing. Every time it was going to be my
Really
turn,
funny.
Cat interrupted you.
Yeah, Cat kept interrupting me, and then she kept passing.